Liaison, would you like to do the honors and get these introductions done?
I'd be happy to. In the top right-hand corner on Overgrowth Ladder Edition, representing Evil Geniuses, all tied up at 1 game apiece in this best-of-9 show match, it is HuK. And in the bottom left, representing Team Liquid, it's the blue Zerg player, it's Snute.
And I just realized that I did the player introductions there completely wrong on the OBS camera there, so apologies for that. For some reason, you always seem to spawn in with your camera on the opposite side to the map than I do. And I have no idea why.
I think I just move it around. I don't pay attention to like keeping it there. I'll do that from now on.
Don't worry at all. So, game number 1 and 2, they were on big 4-player maps. We saw Swarm Host.
We've got a very early pool, by the way. Here.
Yeah, we have actually. That was a good spot by you there. And that's kind of playing into this, that this is obviously a much smaller map. 2 spawn positions. We've got HuK going for the Forge first. Up against an early pool.
We've got an early pool against a cannon rush here. It's kind of... it's pretty funny. Both players kind of playing to the map a little bit here. I mean, Snute selected this map, and you know he said to himself, I'm going to go for the early pool. I'm going to put on aggression here and kind of move forward with it. HuK, on the other hand, said, all right, you know, maybe he's going to... He always goes 15 pool in every... ZVP. I'm going to go for a super early, super aggressive cannon rush here, and, well, the probe gets in, and the question's kind of going to become, where are these cannons going to go? He does see the wings come out. It's going to be a big Q for him there, and he's going to immediately throw down a cannon back behind his mineral line here to try and protect himself.
And this has actually worked out really quite nicely for HuK. The fact that he was getting that forge down nice and quick means, in all likelihood, he's completely safe now. Of course, Snute doesn't know that that is what HuK was going for. He hasn't come into scout yet, isn't aware that it was a forge early on, and as such, he can't respond to this in any way other than what he was planning on doing anyway, which is getting all of these lings out.
Yeah, it's an interesting and difficult kind of spot here moving forward for Snute. HuK up 18-11 in the probe count here, and again, it was almost like a blind, just kind of... You know, you would never think of this matchup as kind of a rocks, paper, scissors kind of matchup, but it kind of turned out that way for this one game. I guess there are a sequence of build orders where it is kind of rocks, paper, scissors. These lings are going to be really annoying. Madals, I don't think there's any way they can realistically take down this Nexus, right?
They shouldn't be able to, but having said that, the positioning of that cannon means that actually they can be in a position where they can't get attack probes, trying to get pulled around to take this out. This could be very crazy. The Zealot has now popped out, and this should spell the end of it, and the Nexus should now be safe. But regardless, Snute has been able to delay a lot of mining time here, and that's frustrating for HuK.
Yeah, and it seems like HuK thought about cannon rushing potentially down by the natural of Snute. He's decided, well, that he's just going to kind of move forward from there. The Zealot's trying to engage, trying to pull back injured probes, down to 15 probes here, so... well, 8 workers have been killed. That's a nice little victory there for Snute, and more than maybe HuK would have expected. I think that the placing of that first pylon, kind of hiding the forge, actually ended up doing him in a little bit. If he had built it in a more conventional location, his Nexus would have been a little safer. He wouldn't have had to pull so many probes.
That definitely did more damage than, to be honest, it should have done for Snute, and he's going to be feeling quite happy with that. By all means, this still isn't a crazy big advantage for him because he committed an awful lot getting that very early spawning pull down. Behind this, Snute, he's got his natural base now up. He's busy just adding in that second queen, going to be spending the majority of his lava droning. But he's still moving in, he's still trying to get a bit more harassment done. 9 workers now killed, and this is very good for the Liquid Zerg.
Yeah, and he takes the third base quickly behind this. HuK takes his natural. He's banking a lot of gas as well, so we'll see if he does try to kind of push that towards aggression. He's just been on one base here, or one gas, I should say. He's just been banking because all he's been building is zealots and pylons and cannons, but Snute, I think, has put himself... The game is really stabilized here. This is kind of... It's delayed a few minutes maybe from where it could be as far as probe count, drone count, all that stuff, tech. But the game has really stabilized, and I think both players are more or less equal. I might even give a slight edge to the Zerg.
This is, as you said, a very unorthodox game from this point forward, or potentially it could become very normal. What's worth noting is that there's still only the 1 gas at the moment for HuK. He's got Warp Gate Tech nearly done, and just threw down 2 additional gateways. potentially he's going to look to get a good number of Zealots warping in nice and quick. So I'm glad to see that Snute is going for that Roach Warren and is looking to make sure that he's nice and defended.
Yeah, and Snute actually never pulled off gas, I believe. He's got, well, Metabolic Boost almost halfway done, and he's continuing to mine gas behind this Roach Warren. It looks like he might be ready to put on some pressure with 3 more Overlords popping out right now.
Those 3 Overlords are actually a big giveaway because generally you're not going to be grabbing all those unless you're going to be going quite cost heavy in terms of your production. If there was the 3rd Queen out and already injecting that 3rd hatch, maybe it'd be more expected, but with that Roach Warren finishing up with a decent number of gas there, indeed, you're correct there, Liaison. A good number of lings getting produced. Are we going to see some extra roaches as well? Yes, we are.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And the inject's coming in, and you can bet that from now on, this is, you know, a little bit of a similar push to what we saw in game number 1. It's just a 2-player map, and, well, he knows that the Forge exists. Just HuK hasn't built any cannons down on that low ground, and he doesn't have a ton to spot here. He's trying to put on pressure on the right-hand side by that 3rd base. He's going to be forced to recall out, which means the Mothership Core is not going to have energy for a Photon Overcharge.
And that is very important. There's only 2 sentries at the moment in order to try and wall off this front. The gas for HuK is really limited due to only having that single assimilator. And this could be a very nice push for Snute. He's moving across the map now. In total count, he has 9 roaches, 26 Zerglings, and is still producing nothing but units. He wants to end this game quickly, and he's shown that right from his opening.
Yeah, just kind of smelling blood in the water, it seems, and he's continuing to rally out units. A couple more Overlords popping, and yep, more Lings streaming in behind this. If this wall falls, and it's kind of neatly tucked in right now for HuK, but if it falls, this could be devastating for him. The Photon Overcharge still, well, 40 or so energy away. The Roaches come in trying to target down the sentries. The pylon falls on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side as well. And, well, once these force fields expire, there's not going to be anything left to kind of remake them here.
These gateways, once they fall, it's going to be GG. And so Snute is able to take the advantage yet again in this series, taking it up to 2-1.